Okay, up to, okay.
Up to, yes.
Any questions from anyone?
I support it. Judge isn't asking for more money, she's just asking for that.
Right.
She'll take it out of the $10. She's not asking for more money.
Yeah, I was looking at that part-time ordinance and there's still some people only making $7 and some cents. So I think the council during budget time would we can.
We did that with full-time, obviously,
Yes.
but we didn't do anything with part-time.
I mean, at least have a minimum should be a lot higher than six.
Question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Judge, why is the range going up to 30? Is there competitive information that we don't know about as you're trying? What sorts of employees are you trying to recruit on the part-time side? And what's the competition in the marketplace look like?
So we're looking for some people to help out on the drug court side with some providers. There are some more of on the professional level. Also, we do have somebody who we're looking at to come in to help on the secretarial side, and it's just not competitive. $10 is so low. They could get more money going to McDonald's, and we're not. Nobody wants to come and do anything for that amount. So on some level, some different part-times, when you look at the drug court side, there are people who have higher degrees and won't even take a look at us, and we're having a hard time getting more of on a psychologist level, some professionals to help with job training, the therapy side of things, but we don't need a full-time person. It really does come down to part-time. It's just the $10 is so low. And I'm not saying we're looking for somebody that we're going to hire at a $30 rate. It's just that seems to be the going rate for finding someone when it comes to that higher end. And on the flip side, a minimum wage is 10 is just too low.
Understood. Do you have enough unencumbered funds that if you were to fill these part-time positions, you're good on your budget?
So in terms of our budget, our drug court has moved up a little bit and we've gotten more people, and we've been trying to find ways not to ask the council for money. We have found different groups that have their own grants through different departments that are willing to come and work with us for a day here and there. We've started that. We've found a group to come in and help us. And we're not asking for money. We're just asking for the part-time fund, which our part-time fund used to be $20,000, and we never used that much. So last year we adjusted it. We gave back $10,000 because we've never gone up to $20,000. And now we're trying to just figure out how to use the funds because drug court seems to be getting a little more busy. So right now we're okay. We're trying to make the best we can with what we have.
Thank you, Judge.
In line with what Councilman Niemeyer said, I was going to ask the same question or maybe make a suggestion that I really don't care about, how many people you're using on part-time, but I want to know the total number of hours in 52 weeks you need part-time, and then we can make the adjustment. Council Lady Sid already suggested that we relook at the ordinance for part-time during budget cycle, but I would ask that when you present to us, you say I need X amount of hours to cover my part-time for 1 year, and then that helps us kind of throw a dart at my figure, so we have enough money there, and then you don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Sure, and we tried to look at what other departments used, and we went off of the felony department. I think they have a max of 25 per hour for professional services, and there was one other department that had 30, and so then we thought that's more in line of what we're hoping to use with that money, and not just have it at the $10 an hour. But I will absolutely get the information you're requesting and get it to you.
You didn't know what it's gonna cost.
Any other questions?
So, no, I fully support this, reason being, judge isn't going to exceed her part-time line item, so how he spends her part-time is not a big concern to me.
Right.
I'm in support.
Yeah, I know you stated that early on that she
But-
doesn't plan on asking.
No,
for
it's,
funds. Okay. All right,
it's all good.
thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay, room 2.
And two, nobody's spoken to me about that.
Morning.
I apologize once again, for not contacting you sooner. We are requesting 2 separate things. We're requesting an additional probation officer on staff, in the amount of $58,473. Right now, we have 4 probation officers, and the caseloads that they have, it actually exceeds the amount of probation officers that we have right now. And then the second item that we have is we're requesting funds to purchase 4 computers. Right now, we are pretty much depleted on our funds through data. So we are unable to purchase them with our own funds right now. And that is in the amount of $8,258.20.
In a nutshell, I'm not gonna, I didn't get called. I don't want to be a broken record, but I've mentioned it time after time after time, and I think my colleagues will back me on that, and I'm not gonna support any new appropriations out of the general fund. Number one, and if I were, I'd say, when are you gonna prepare the budget prepare your budget to present for next year? This is June. We're gonna be, in a couple of months, we're gonna be doing new budgets, so that's one reason. But number two, I'm not taking any money after the disaster that took place downstate. I'm not gonna make any appropriations on it, okay?
Question, what's the current piece load per probation officer?
Per probation officer, the state of Indiana doesn't do it per case, they do it per case type. They allot a certain amount of minutes for, depending on what kind of case it is. So some cases will take more time than others. So felony case is going to take longer than a misdemeanor. So it's not per case, but they did have over 3,000 cases split amongst the 4 of them last year.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll be requesting no action. And to answer you respectfully, the other judges have contacted me on similar issues, and I said no. Well, I think we could have resolved this if that would have been called.
Yeah, we started a policy at the beginning of the year that you had to reach out to your chairman to even be placed on the agenda. So, need to, Councilman Ham is your chairman of your budget. So, future, please reach out to him. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? One statement I do have is that, have you checked with the commissioners with who kept dollars that they may have
Yeah, that's on Peter.
indexed to help you with that?
I have not reached out to the commissioner's office. No.
Pardon?
I said I have not reached out to the commissioner's office, but I
Yes, maybe we're gonna. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Superior Court Room 3.
Morning.
Learning.
Okay. Well, we've got we're asking to amend, our timeline item in reference to the secretary receptionist. Currently, it shows 10.50 an hour. We're asking to amend it to a maximum of 20. And part of that is in case, we have the need to hire somebody with like a little Odyssey experience. That would be somebody we want to pay a little bit more on. So that's why we thought that was a little outdated. That's why we-
Which I support.
And I'm not asking for any money.
No, everything is shut this court.
Thank you.
We don't,
And the others are coming out of,
the other one is this
Grant
fund, 9398 that we created last year, and it's monies that came to us through our Veterans Court with Legacy Foundation. We're a 501c3 corporation, and there's like an endowment.
And every year, we're gonna see a little bit of money from our money. So we decided we should put it in a line item so we can use it. Like Judge was just at a conference in Florida. So, it'd be something to help take, some pressure off the government.
And I appreciate the contact that you and I have and Judge Control and I have. It's wonderful. I will be supporting these are grant funds.
Any questions, Councilman? Charlie, are you on? Do you have any questions?
No,
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Juvenile court,
Morning. EA want to create a new line item for the flower farm project. Grant funds would move that and move it to other supplies, which can be used for flowers, herbs, vegetables, seed, topsoil, fertilizer, gloves, and plastic pots. C, number 1, ordinances, establishing the Lake County Juvenile Alternative Initiative and even number year fund non-reverting. So this is kind of driven by the state as far as how we have to do it. The state requires alternating from each grant cycle, odd and even numbers. The other ordinance 2, Lake County Juvenile Center High Risk Outreach Program, that's grant fund non-reverting, driven by Dr. McGee, and it's project outreach and prevention. It's high risk outreach program for use within referred to LCJC for low level gun. Number 9, we'll create a new line item for the Juvenile Secure Detention Fund, household and supplies. It's going to be primarily for the GPS monitoring, the big number, 11,000, and the supplies are for the kids, like deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, brushes, body wash, hair gel, and that type of stuff. And C, the ordinance there, this is the Lake County Community Correction Juvenile Detention Grant, even numbered years, and non-reverting fund. The state, again, is informing during the audit to create a separate fund number for even years and to use this grant. The state cannot allow year 25 and 26 funds to be commingled in the same account. They're driving that. Number 10, CASA is the building capacity grant supplemental increase. They're asking for $3,000 for the following duties to an individual that is actually at this point, she's a CASA coordinator, and she'll be taking on these additional duties, developing a recruit plan along with retirement, CASA volunteers, additional volunteers training duties, reviewing volunteer applications, interviewing volunteers, preparing for and attending public events, assist in improving their VIP group, assist in completing quarterly reports to the state, other miscellaneous.
Their dialogue with him, and I'm okay with all of the.
Number 11 is the 40 courts in Gary and here at some point. They want to purchase some office machines, and they'll purchase in the new computers and upgrade the FTR software, which is the digital reporting system.
That's coming out of your 4D.
I think that's it.
Any questions from anyone?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have weights and measures.
Don't you have veterans?
So that says mute.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay, we'll come back to it.
So they can hear me.
Yes, thanks. We just skip that.
Radio signals.
Go ahead, you can go.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am gonna ask them to amend the ordinance, so that we can accept credit card payments to make it more convenient to our customers. Right now, I think we're served 900 and something businesses, and with new businesses being established every day, I'm sure by the end of the day, we'll be up to 1,000. A lot of the business owners, they are vacation, out of town, and this would be just a more convenient way for them to pay, because they don't be here during certain seasons. So we're just asking to be able to accept credit cards to make it more convenient for the business owner.
Sharon, is
Yes.
there any service cost? Is there cost to us?
That's what this is about.
So it's gonna be about
It's
a
passed on, passed on.
to the customer so we can swipe and pay. That makes sense.
And we can, there's nothing preventing us from doing this.
No, it's by statute, service statute.
We do it now in the treasurer's office, clerk's office. Yeah.
Yep.
Any questions from anyone? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now, plan commission. Sorry, Steve.
Sorry. Good morning. There's a petition coming before you to change the zoning on a piece of property, roughly 94 acres, going from R3, 1 to 4 family residential, down to A1 for the future use as a agritourism type use. And that's going to come before the Plan Commission and the BZA if this is successful under a special exception for the agritourism business or use on property.
For those who don't know, this property used to be where Lynn's Meats housed their beef cattle. So it was an agricultural use in a residential zone. So it's a zoning cleanup and allows for consideration of that special exception, which is forthcoming.
Good.
Thank you for your time.
Jason's back.
Okay, Jason, you up?
Good morning. So everything I'm about to talk about, I took the liberty of putting into a packet. I think everybody has a copy of that. I'm here to argue that our current county ordinance be updated and increased. This ordinance has not been updated since November 14th of 2000. Right now, if a veteran passes away, we pay the spouse or family member $150. That's not even skimming the surface of cremations right now. If a veteran's spouse passes away, we pay $100 towards the family or the veteran. And right now, we pay $60 towards the installation of a headstone. Most cemeteries should charge $700 just to put that foundation in. Okay, so 25 years of cost of living. I've drafted some numbers to show if we did a 25% increase, if we did a 30% increase, etc. I'm asking that we increase the veterans burial benefit from 150 to 500. I would like to see the surviving spouse go from 100 to 300, and I would like to increase the grave marker from 60 to 200. I called around to a couple of crematoriums and funeral homes. Most cremations are going anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500. We can ship in 5. Township can chip in some money. That would alleviate the cost of family members. And quite frankly, if I were to pass away and the county would give my wife $150, I would tell her to set it back because that's insulting. I've heard it from other people when we tell them what they're eligible for, and they say, "Wow, 150, that's it." That's it. That's what we're allotted for because for whatever reason this hasn't been updated. I'm now the director and I want to make changes, and this is one of my things on my list.
So did we talk about this last year? Yeah.
Yes. I did call you to let you know it was going to be coming back up.
Yeah.
I was not completely understanding the process because my budget compared to where this comes out of, which would be another commissioner's budget. So with last year bringing it up to you and everything being said and done, you decided to take it and bring it up again this year.
Okay. So I guess my question with this is, where is this being paid out of then?
Commissioner, it's just the commissioner department, general fund.
And so with that, if we would do an increase like this, I mean, are we going to have to appropriate more funds or how much money is in there?
And that's something that I don't know. At the very last page of that packet, you have 2023 burials and 2024 burials total. 2023 we did 635 total. That's veteran spouse. 24 we did 429. And right now into 2025, current, we're at about 200. I think one of the things that we have to look at is long-term, because the generations of veterans that are passing, World War II, there's not very many of them left. Korea, not very many left. Vietnam is upwards of their 80s, if not a little bit older. The next generation of veterans are going to be that Desert Storm, Gulf War, and veterans like myself from post 9/11. So even if we did a substantial increase here, short term, we might pay out a lot, but going forward over the next 20 years, whatever, it might flatten out and bottom out for a minute. Because again, Desert Storm, Gulf War, I think they're in their mid 50s. I'm post 9/11, I'm in my 40s. So there's going to be a gap of where you're not going to see as many veterans from Lake County passing, to where we're going to be spending the same amount of money we have historically. That could be my only argument.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying that we shouldn't increase it. The thing is, kind of like what we had talked about, mid-year, general funds, additional appropriations. I don't know if there's a way for us to, this is mine, I mean, it's open to discussion. I'd like to know, if we do an increase and all of a sudden we got to appropriate, we increase it by that much, all of a sudden we've got a $250,000 liability that we're already have some constraints going into next budget year that, as you had mentioned, David mentioned, to looking at. So I don't know if that's something that, you have control of that line item. Do we have to talk to the commissioners about that? Who actually knows the answer to that question?
Well, I think
What's the
if we
constraints
look at the
going
line
into next
item that it's being paid out of, see what's in that fund, see if all those funds have been utilized, maybe there's money there currently, or maybe there's some other line item in the budget where we can transfer some, but I think, yeah.
So I sought guidance on this before putting this all together, then coming in front of the council. Ask first, and then let everything else play out with how it's going to be. So if you guys approve my increase, then worrying about the money is going to be something later down the road. Or this is a study session and we revise and see what would be appropriate to pay out. If not the full that I'm asking, what kind of, can we do a 40%? Can we do a 36% based off of our,
Yeah, we'll look at the numbers.
but I also know too now with going forward over the next several years that the counties and local municipalities are going to be hurting severely because of the budgets, with some of the property taxes, cuts and stuff like that. But again, it's been 25 years since this ordinance has been updated.
There's a couple of things. You're going pretty quick. I think we need to also mention that the federal government does have some stake in this game. The footstone is provided for free by the VAs. Now, so that's pretty good benefit, right? So we do have that, but we need to figure out what the total cost is going to be again on this. I agree, but for the burial assistance, is there anything from DC that's going to help us with some matching stuff federally to help that veteran, either put that veteran in the grave or their spouse?
So just because you're a veteran does not mean that the federal VA is going to give you VA burial benefits.
Yeah, you just say the two things.
So you either need to be receiving compensation, you need to be receiving pension, wage compensation or pension in lieu of retirement, whatever.
Right.
But if you just served and you're not doing any of that, you get nothing. Now, if you pass away from a service-connected death, federal VA pays $2,000. If it's a non-service-connected death, they do $976 for the burial and $976 for the plot.
But not every veteran is entitled to benefits at that point. And nor a lot of us have any benefit for disability. So, one benefit we all have, I think, that we take advantage of most veterans is the VA loan. But we go into that, we take that responsibility, we raise our hand.
I guess I'm asking for this increase to allow our office to provide a basic vital service to the constituents of Lake County, and that is exactly what county government should be doing. So.
And I don't disagree with you, but what I would like to do is, instead of just putting something in and figuring out how we're gonna pay for it later. Because I'd like to know.
Something I can take offline with Scott and we can look
Yes.
at numbers and
Yes.
maybe have our own little.
Yeah, so the current budget this year is 96 grand.
For everything?
Oh, that's what's in the line item.
Yeah, no, that's for the headstones, that's for.
Yeah. And so in
Is it veteran burial? Is that correct?
24, only 62,750 of that was spent. And it looks like currently you're kind of on a similar track to 24 when it comes to burial.
So if I ask for a full increase, you're talking about, total line item of about 125.5.
We do not have that money.
75% would be 109, 50% would be 94, 60% increase would be 100, and so on. So I mean,
Listen, we'll look at, maybe we'll sit with the commissioners too and see where they like the dollars and maybe we can do a transfer.
But thinking out loud here,
Yeah.
so if they've done about 200 so far, let's say it tracks the same number at 429, that means we got two. I mean, nobody knows when people are gonna pass. Try not to be morbid here. We're talking about numbers, people's lives. That it seems like there might be enough budget flexibility to take a step. Right? I mean, just on the surface, looking at having 200 and something likely left for the year. But yes, I think Scott and Jason need to work together on that to find that step that we can take, and then it's going to the budget season, that can be looked at again.
I mean, I'm all in for fiscal responsibility, but I'm also completely willing to die on the hill that our veterans and their family members deserve better than $150.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that, Jason.
Yeah, I do. All right, any other questions, comments? All right, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Tony, hi, oh, Jason, don't we have veterans appointments also on the list, on the, have you reached out, does everyone want to serve, you know?
Hold on, Lori.
Okay, all right,
I'll find out.
very good, thank you.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
We were here last month for the creation of a fund to deposit the 2026 cross from that ran into. The fund's been established. We're asking today for the creation of a line item and appropriations section that fund of $2,466,168.50. That project will rehabilitate Mississippi Street between 100 and 81st Avenue on 153rd Avenue. It would do Iowa Street between 153rd and State Road 231, and Iowa Street between State Road 231 and 129th Avenue. I know the county is in the process of depositing their money, and the state has already deposited the grant.
Any questions? Councilman Brown, any questions?
No question.
Special effects.
Thank you. Anything else?
We have another item.
Okay,
We're here, we've run through our overtime fund. Basically, we had $140,000 appropriated for overtime. We've currently spent $158,000. We're asking to reduce our appropriation in Fund 704 by $40,000. Increase the appropriation in 705 for the overtime by $40,000. And transfer another $6,000 from equipment rentals into overtime. Give us basically about another $30,000 in overtime to work with for the remainder of the year.
this is the same fund, why couldn't this have been a transfer? Oh, it's
two different
different
departments.
departments, gotcha, yeah. All right.
So I've got a general question. I received a call from, actually through Randy, about the Lake Hills Fire Department in St. John area. And they were talking about heavy truck traffic on a certain road. I'm not asking specifically to that road, but I'm trying to understand how this works. Does the county set, like, there's weight restrictions on certain roads, or how does that work? Do you know how that works?
The roads does have weight restrictions, yes.
And I think the weight restriction is more, pertains a lot to some of the roads have bridges that have a limited amount that might be carried. So that would apply to a section of the roadway.
All right, I'm kind of chasing a few things down for them, so thank you.
I have a question. I don't recall receiving a call, maybe I missed it on these, but I did.
I'm sorry, we've been sending it to your email here rather than giving you a phone call. I'm sorry, that's my fault.
No worries.
Well, which do you prefer, email, or would you like them to give you a phone? There you go.
It's preference now that we've got the list from you, is the telephone.
So sometimes I get mixed up with so many different things that it's hard to dive into all the emails. And also I'd like to ask questions through the conversation. Overtime, why has so much of the overtime been used already this year?
Snow plowing, it depends on if it falls on the weekend, everything is either.
Hardly half.
Double time for
Besides the snow plowing, we've had severe storms. Several storms. Right
Just
now,
the limb pickup, Randy, they were out there 24/7 on an appropriated area on the county line. It was pretty bad. You guys did a great job, by the way. Thank you.
Does any of that overtime have to do with the multitude of people that schedule vacation time all during road construction?
No, they cannot take vacations in the wintertime. They can't start their vacations.
no, they can't start vacation till after March, middle of March.
So we're in road construction season and everybody's on vacation.
Well, you have to understand too, that we have an old crew. Some of those guys got 6 weeks at the most, let me say that. And so we have to work around them. And it's a union, remember, so we have to work around that.
And it was something about that little bit, guys, with my experience with Teamsters, I've done a couple things. So what we did is we established that because we couldn't have anyone take any vacations. The primary functions of the highway department, whether you like it or not, is to plow snow. So we'll make sure people get to and from commute emergency services. So that's our priority. So back in the day when we first established it, we had vacations had to be taken. I want to say it was not until March 31st or it was March to October is the only time that's a window we allowed vacations. But after Halloween, because of the storm, salt, and our response, because we also take care of all the street signs, stop signs, when windstorms come through. We have a sign department, we put temporary signage up, all that stuff covered. No vacations during the winter months. My guys hate it. They would love to take a week's vacation in Christmas, but can't do it because that's what the job demands.
In the summer,
We did negotiate it in the contract. The county government negotiated that in the contract. They said we need this first responders. We can't allow any vacation time during those months. Bottom line, that's why it's.
and in the summer months, we're divided into 3 districts. Each district supervisor approves vacation time so that there's always enough crew, enough operating engineers.
Outside of the total patch, and no disrespect to our men and women there, but really there's no work or road work. The primary function is emergency response plowing. But when we're doing total patch work and hauling stone and stuff, we don't need a full body like we do need the full body during the winter months for plowing snow. So there is more latitude. There's not as much demand. I know you got a lot of stone, you do some grindings and stuff like that.
We actually reconstruct.
You guys are doing a lot more, and we actually, Randy, at one time tried to work out a apprenticeship plan there to take guys in, get them in there, work with them, get them the skill, and then to really actually start being able to resurface some of these alleys, parkways. And
I think we have a great highway department. I'm not knocking on you. I'm looking through my email. I don't see any email from you guys in the last month.
That's true. Well,
I apologize.
Calling in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate you answering the questions. Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? Councilman Brown?
No question.
Thank you. All right, prosecutor. Sorry, Jake.
Hello.
So our first request is just transferring into equipment repair. Our APS unit has 2 vehicles that need new brakes and rotors and just general maintenance on those. So we wanted to get that wrapped up before this contract ends the end of June.
Any questions on that one?
What are vehicles used for? What's their primary purpose?
Home visits. So our APS unit goes out to a lot of homes, where there's reported elder abuse. They go in, they check on them, try to do initial interviews, and then forward that onto the police if need be.
Those take-home vehicles or those?
No, those stay at the office.
Thanks.
Next.
And then for 9003, most of this is just wrapping up what we had discussed last month, eliminating one full-time position in county general just to balance out those increases, as well as deleting the supplemental positions in county general and department 8295. And then we will be asking to create 2 new positions in 8295 just to balance out what we deleted in county general.
Any questions? Good. Next.
Great, thank you.
Community corrections. Here. Outstanding bill.
Georgia.
Who's, Councilman Niemeyer, did you get a call on that one?
No, that's me.
Oh, it is?
Oh, you mean parks?
Oh, no, community, that's you, community corrections.
Yeah, I thought Georgia would be here, but I believe that he said me. So,
Parks and recreations.
I did.
We're today requesting an increase in our 107 land improvements line item of $450,000. We have a cash balance right now between 1.5, 1.8 million. We always try to keep a solid cash balance. So we're going to take it out of that. And as I said to Randy, there's just a lot of things we want to fix, rooftops here and there. If we don't use it, we will take that cash, roll it over, because we like to come into the first of the year with a real strong cash balance. Little things, ignoring revenues applies for us. I kind of talked about it last month. It just didn't get out.
And this fund, is this a cube fund or is this a
This is,
revenue fund or a non-reverting?
it's a regular, 107 is tax supported, and there is some revenue.
Levy fund?
We put about 2 million of our, I'm gonna call them our revenues from whatever, into that fund to get to the appropriation.
Do we know, Scott, if a fund like that is levy generated is going to be, do we have enough detail yet to see what its impact might be with SCA one?
I mean, yes, I mean, we know that all levy funds will be treated equally in terms of investment. So
I'm wondering how that revenue stream is going to be impacted.
there's going to be less. So there's going to be,
We have
from where we're at today, to 28, will be down 15 million. I know they show 28 million, but their math is kind of.
That's county-wide, that's not just,
No, that's
No,
us.
that's just us.
okay, that's just, that's what I mean, that's
Yeah, us, from the 15 million, I forget what weight ratio you guys are of that.
That's why I was gonna ask, what portion of that would be them?
Maybe $1 million.
Well, and going forward, for us to manage funds and cash flow and everything else, as we get better numbers, we're just got to figure it out. And I had a staff meeting yesterday, and I hate being Mr. Negative all the time, but I said, folks, it's just the way life is. And it's just, be prepared. But I don't know what to do, to be honest.
Well, that's why I think it's important we just have the conversation.
Well, I agree.
Start thinking out loud here of what the future looks like and start to plan.
Well, we're trying to get Jim's point of view. I've not been a person who believes it's spend it or try to manage it, but there's part of me that says spend it and get things done.
Yeah, we're gonna have to invest in some capital upgrades now.
And how do we do that? And to an earlier conversation you had about part-time, I know we'll be coming back looking at our part-time ordinance for the budget, we keep a broad range just so we can manage it. And one of the things we're looking at is setting up a bonus system, particularly for our seasonals at the water park. Don't know how it'll work. Have to meet requirements before they get anything. But we often get kids, the college kids got to go back and get their room ready, and there's, you know, and you got to leave for Lollapalooza. To the world of seasonal employment.
Talk to the Secretary of State about those bonuses.
Yeah. I know there are other departments within the state that do that, and I keep asking their superintendents and all, how does that work? They go, I don't know, talk to your finance person. I think it's part of the salary ordinance. We just have to construct it so that nothing will be guaranteed until you meet certain requirements.
I think that's very tricky.
Well, yes, that's why we haven't done it yet.
Stay away from bonuses.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, I mentioned it too. I think we hold off on that with hindsight of everything going on downstate and how everything is just so terrible. What I'm gonna do is just say, don't take anything. We're on the vertical garden. Scott, let's get a hold of the accountant, send the money back to the federal government. They obviously need it more than we do. And, so just screw it, just pull the goddamn project up with. But we had to try something, but it didn't work in the state of Indiana.
Well, it's going to be a struggle going forward, as you all know. And I gave you some marketing stuff, so when you're really upset, just go out, look, sit in the park and realize that there are things happening 24/7.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you. See you Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
All right, economic development. Brian, Tim.
Good morning, everyone. This is to try to start the closure of both the ERA 1 and the ERA 2. Those were the emergency rental assistance programs that we had. We had $49,312,950 in total. We assisted on rental assistance $45,255,850. 4.9 million, or 3.9 million, the remainder, about 2/6 of that was for Geminis to administer the program for us. It worked out to be about a 9.17% cost of for administrative services and all the other stuff that goes with that, including legal fees and so on. So frankly, being under 10% is pretty good. But anyway, what happened was some very unusual things between ERA 1 and 2. ERA 1, any type of money that's left over goes back to Treasury. ERA 2, we're allowed to keep it. But if we keep it, we have to use it specifically for extremely low income projects. We've committed a little over $1 million to Co-Action to help them purchase property to build a brand new 40-unit, very low income rental facility, which is exactly what they want you to do with that money, which is good. Okay. I think it's a great project. Out of the ERA 1, we've already sent back $154,945 because we had funds left over, and they said give it back. Now they want the money from any fraud that occurred. Well, there are 2 cases of fraud that we had. One is $4,800. We have that money in the account now to go back. The other one's $16,800. We don't have that money because that had to go to court. We've got about $4,800 of that, and they filed for bankruptcy. So we doubt we're going to get any difference. However, any type of interest that was created on any of this through Geminis and through us at the beginning of the program, we can use that money for anything we want. The total of that is approximately $11,000. So what we're filing for our self-insurance is a cost to the program to pay the fund about $1,100. So that should get us all the money we need to pay back Treasury all fraud. Now, the remainder of that 300 that's we're asking for the appropriation is basically things like 110,000 that people didn't cash the checks. It's ERA 1 money.
Gemini has got it, they're gonna give it to us, we gotta transfer it to treasury. That's one example. There was an over cost that they did it to us on one of the, after we're doing what to review everything. They charge us twice on a billing, for 32,000, that goes back to treasury. So there's some things that end up heading back. And that's just the way this thing worked out. But that's why we have this particular request. The other fund, which is the Area 2 fund, there is money from Gemini that's going back into that. That's, and we have money in there. We have like 815,000 in it. And then they're gonna come up with another like 200,000, so well, just over $1 million, and that's what's gonna go into action. We are saving a little bit back in case there's any admin costs, like attorney fees in the Area 2. That's the best way I could explain it to you.
Any questions? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lake County Commissioners. Oh, Ted.
I snuck in.
Didn't see you.
Morning.
Did you dress up just for us?
Yes, I actually did. Good morning. We are requesting an additional appropriation for our expenses at Hermit's Lake. We were impacted by a rate increase in April by Crown Point. I know that the commissioners and commissioner's attorney are working with Crown Point to get an adjustment on that. I'm not sure if there's anything that's going to go retro, but we've already spent. We only have 90,000 left in the account for utilities. We appropriated initially 190, so we just need to be able to cover for the rest of the year. I think our spend last year was 410,000. So,
How many customers is that covered? Do you know the?
do you know that number? I could get that number for you. I don't know off the top.
Just curious.
I've been sat in some meetings, but like.
How much did Crown Point's rate increase? It was quite substantial.
It was huge because we've gotten bills for $92,000 when we get 30.
Is this metered rates or are these bulk rates? What is this?
I don't believe in meter. It's a flat rate that they assess to.
Yeah.
On,
So they increased the sewer rates by 300%?
Couldn't say for sure, but it was
Substantial.
substantial. But I think there's been progress in the discussions. So we presented some data and we're moving along so we can realize that.
Yeah, because in Hermit's Lake area, those are not what I would call heavy users of the system.
No, not at all. And that's actually come out in some of the research that we've done is that the numbers don't match.
It's an extremely minimal impact to the overall
I
system.
apologize, I don't know the exact percentages and stuff.
Okay. Thanks, Ted. Appreciate that.
Any other questions? I did receive your email regarding, you had something you laid on the agenda. So.
Yeah, but to this
Yeah,
one or next
but
one,
next, I'll look at it.
I'd be happy to discuss it.
Okay. All right, anything else? Thank you. On the console, we have a resolution regarding the townships receiving the public safety.
Yeah, the qualifying townships under Indiana code are Cedar Creek Center, Eagle Creek, Hanover, Hope, St. John, West Creek, and Winfield townships to receive a distribution of CAGIT, the adjusted gross income tax for fire protection services for townships. Pretty soon, we've been doing it every year.
Yes, we can do it.
That's another thing that once the PTRC rolls off, we have different formulas with the income taxes. This whole thing may have to be reformulated.
Okay, we have appointments, veterans. He said he gave the information to Tori, so probably being the same unless I'll ask Tori if these are the names. We also have, anyone else have anything? Well, regarding appointments, we also have an appointment to the newly created Northwest Indiana Professional Sports Development Commission. And I know, I'll get everybody a copy of this letter, but, Don Popperbach, he's, the CEO and president of the Northern League here. He has the Oilman Stadium in lighting. And he has asked to be considered for the league as our representative on the board.
Former council.
No.
That's the way that was not contradiction.
Oh,
Yeah, no, this is.
He passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did. He was a great guy.
He was.
So I'll get everybody a copy of this letter. I'll have to replace it on the agenda. Right, anything else? I will review with Tori regarding placing things on the agenda.
yeah, I don't know. We can talk about it here, that's all.
Yeah.
I just mentioned to Carrie, I wouldn't care if somebody reached out to me and then if Tori were to text me, call me, I could say, yep. I've spoken, good enough.
No, I get it.
You know, anyway,
It's only a respectful thing to do if you're going to ask a council person to carry an item for you. You should at least reach out so they can speak on it. Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
More trucks coming in. Yeah. And you.
Oh, yeah, but I'm.